Hello. Welcome to the Skeins of Dreams Knitting Podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. Welcome. Today I am recording an actual knitting episode. My previous episode was a quilting one, and I must thank all of you who watched and left a comment. I had a lot of fun putting together that video, and I really appreciate that you watched the video and were supportive of my quilting videos as well. Are supportive. I got a lot of comments and suggestions on improving my quilting skills, and I really appreciate that because I definitely want to get better at it. So I just wanted to say that right off the bat. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed reading all your comments. Today, however, is a knitting bonanza episode. I had put a poll on Instagram asking people if they wanted to see a 2024 knitting, everything I knit in 2024 recap, or if they wanted to see best or top 10 sweaters from my wardrobe. And while both the topics were of high interest, I think it was a 60-40 split towards top 10 sweaters from my wardrobe. So that's what I'm bringing to you today. I know some people also DM'd me and said that they would like to see both. I will be honest that the reason I was kind of hesitant of doing like a 2024 everything I knit video was because I'm feeling like I'm not very happy with all the things that I knit. I knit some very beautiful things, and I had my first handspun sweater, so there were some accomplishments for sure, but I'm not wearing a lot of my 2024 sweaters as much, and I'm kind of being very critical of some of the design elements. Anyway, right off the bat I've started talking about something negative, but so I wanted to kind of do a recap of, or like a video for my top 10 sweaters from my wardrobe, because I gravitate to some sweaters more than others, and I think everybody does that. And there might be different reasons: the color, style, it goes everything with my wardrobe. It's more suitable for where I wear sweaters. For example, I work in an office and we have to wear business casual most of the time, all of the time. So I wear a lot of plain, simple and modest sweaters. Like, I don't do anything too different, I feel. But I am more of a functional sweater person. Like, I like things that I can add to my wardrobe and they can be worn at the grocery store, at my office, and I like that they have that versatile nature. And but I do want to make more statement pieces. I feel like my wardrobe kind of lacks that. I do make a lot of colorful sweaters, but color is not equal to statement pieces for me, because I generally wear a lot of color. So just because a sweater is colorful does not translate to it being a statement piece on my wardrobe. Anyway, so I have been reflecting on everything I made in 2024, and I think my goal for 2025 is quality over quantity. Like, every year I've been making like 15, on an average, like 15 sweaters, which is a lot, and I was counting, and my wardrobe currently has over 60 sweaters. These are combination of, all seasons. Like, there are summer garments, fall garments, winter garments. So I don't have 60 sweaters to wear all year round, but I have a total of over 60 sweaters, and I still end up wearing some of my favorites more frequently than other sweaters. And I think you can hear Oreo licking the can and dragging it all over the floor. Maybe I need to go convince him that there is nothing left in the can and he's wasting his time. I got distracted. So I do also have a knitting update for you. So I think I'll first talk about finished objects, works in progress, and then I'll move on to the top 10 sweaters in my wardrobe. I'll put chapters, so if you're here only for the top 10 sweaters, you can go to that directly. So grab a beverage or a project and let's get going. So finished objects. I am wearing my finished object. Now this is kind of a cheat because this was an unfinished abandoned whip from 2021. I had everything done except the ribbing on the neck and sleeves. It was supposed to be a full sleeve sweater, but I kind of I don't know, cheated and just finished off with ribbing on my sleeves as well and turned it into a vest in order to get it out of my abandoned whip pile, essentially. This is the canvas sweater by Orlan Sook, who is Ted Besh on Ravelry on Instagram. I'm super pleased with even just the vest. Like, you know, it's gray, it's a neutral. I can wear it with a lot of things in my wardrobe, and I have paired it with a long sleeve t-shirt. And this is how I plan to wear it, and I'm very happy with making it a vest. I was missing some, like, I like vests in my wardrobe, especially for wearing indoors, and this is the perfect addition to my wardrobe. And it's a neutral, so I can wear it with a lot of different colored bottoms. So I'm very happy with it. I knit this in Fiber Company Cumbria, and I think it's a mohair blend. It's a very nice yarn to knit with, worsted weight yarn. And I know the texture is a little not as visible, perhaps because of the lighting, but I'll put a picture of me wearing this that I took for Instagram, and I'm very happy with how this turned out. Orlan's patterns work out really well for me most of the time, and they make very wearable sweaters for me. So there are some designers that I gravitate to more than others, I feel, just because their sizing and their patterns just fit my sense of style or whatever really easily. So I did test knit this for her, but I was a really terrible test knitter and I didn't finish it. But I'm glad I did finally and added it to my wardrobe. Like, I was surprised that it still fits me because it was from 3 years ago, but I think I was going for a looser, more relaxed fit, and that just worked out. So I guess I'll count this as the finished object, and I'm done with my canvas vest. No, that's not the only finished object. I actually have finished socks. Last time I was showing you a pair of socks and I'd started a second pair. So those 2 socks have been gifted, and they were gifted to our friends. We went to see them for New Year's, and I wrapped them up and gifted those socks to our friends. They thoroughly loved the socks, and they've been wearing them pretty regularly. And I think our friends have proven to be knit-worthy enough that I want to knit them more socks so that they don't go through those or, you know, wear them out or something. But I used pattern scroy for both those socks, so I'm pretty confident that the socks will last forever. I've been knitting a lot with pattern scroy, and every time I post something about it on Instagram, people have been messaging and reaching out and said that they love that sock yarn and that it holds up really well. In the same vein, I have another pair of socks done. So this is also pattern scroy. I did not put it on like sock blockers or anything. I do have sock blockers, but you only need them for like taking pictures or something, and I didn't even take it out from storage since we moved to this house, which is like 3 years ago. So these are another pair of socks for my friend. I am gonna give these to her next week because I'm currently knitting on another pair, those that are for her boyfriend, and I'm gonna give them both together at the same time. It's my classic ribbed or vanilla ribbed socks recipe, and I was talking about this recipe, I think, on Instagram, and Leanne from the Nitty Stew asked me if I have any notes for my vanilla ribbed sock recipe. And I looked over my Ravelry project page, but I didn't find anything that I had more recently. Like, I had the numbers from originally when I started knitting socks, but I didn't find any good notes. So I decided to write down the recipe for my ribbed sock. And I did put a post on Instagram that if anyone is interested, they can let me know and I will send them the recipe. I'm not charging anything for it. It's just a sock recipe. It's not like a pattern or anything. But if you're interested, you can send me an email at skeensofdreamsknits@gmail.com and I will happily send you my sock recipe. So I made these for my friend, and then for her boyfriend, I already made one sock. This is also Patterns Croy. Because Croy is a sport weight yarn, there isn't as much yardage in one skein, and for men's socks I'm running out of this. Like, if I buy 250-gram skeins, I need a little more than that to make a men's sock because it's only like 300 yards or something per skein. And so I have added contrast color on this one's because this foot size is a man's 10.5 US, which is a pretty long foot. So I needed extra yarn, so I decided I would do something of a contrast red, and I'm very happy with how this looks. I did a heel flap and gusset and 3x1 rib over here. This is 1x1 rib, and I do the rib on the top of the foot also, but at the bottom of the foot I just do stockinette, and then a square toe. So this has been made using my sock recipe, and I am working on the second sock. So I'm hoping to finish this by this weekend, and then I'll wash both of the pairs and then I'll wrap it and gift it. So yeah, so my sock knitting mojo is definitely back and I'm thoroughly enjoying making them. I did so I'm also planning like a 2025 is not gonna be a year of yarn purchase for me. I'm very serious about a no yarn, like a yarn ban for this year. I do have a budget that if I do end up spending money on yarn, I will stay under the budget. So it kind of hopefully will deter me from buying extremely large quantities of yarn. But because of that, at the end of 2024, I ended up buying like 14 skeins of sock yarn, mostly because I've decided that this year I'm gonna knit a pair of socks each month as my gift knitting. And I have made a list of all the people I would like to gift socks to, and then most of them I know their foot size because I've knit socks for them before, or I have asked them for their foot size. So I'm gonna make gift socks all year round so I can give them to my friends either on their birthdays or for like the holidays at the end of the year. So I ended up buying a bunch of sock yarn, and that was my last yarn purchase of the year. If I do go to a yarn festival this year, I will end up buying yarn, but that's why I also have like a budget which I'm not supposed to exceed. And I know Selma from Little Big Knits is running the Shop Your Stash knit along, and I am definitely intending on participating with most of my projects for that knit along. I have an incredible stash. Like, I have a lot of yarn, and honestly, like, I don't really need yarn, and I have reached a point where if I see new yarn, I'm like, I have that color in another yarn, like, I have a substitute in my stash. So, and I initially had like a mental block from, like, you know, if I had, say I had 1600 yards of a yarn, I would only knit a project that would use up at least 90% of it. But I have sort of relaxed that, and I'm allowing myself to break yarn quantities and break sweater quantities, and just use the one that I have in stash and use the rest of the sweater quantity in some other form, because I'm kind of sick of, you know, accumulating so much yarn. Anyway, I went off on a tangent, but I have sock knitting plans this year, and of course I'm gonna keep talking about it as and when I knit more socks. So the next project I want to talk about is a test knit I'm knitting for Beth McDonald Stone. This is for her Cragmore vest pattern, and here it is. I am so pleased with how this is turning out. This has cables all over the front, and the back is ribbing, and I am very pleased with how this is working up. I've put it on 2 needles because I was trying it out last night. I think I'm at that stage where I need to decide the length of the vest, and what I'm gonna do before I decide the length is actually work the neck band so that I can try it on again and decide the length based on how the neck sits. And I think the neck band might pull up this front cable a little bit, but this has turned out to be so beautiful. The cables are super squishy, and I am very pleased with how this is working up. The test knit is due on Jan 22nd. Today is the 11th, I want to say. I forgot. But I have some time this weekend, and I'm pretty much, like, I might have like 2 inches on the body before I do ribbing, and I'm not planning on adding ribbing to the sleeves. This is how I'm going to leave the sleeves. If I feel that the sleeve armhole is too long after wearing it a few times, I could always go back and add the ribbing. So Beth has both options. She made 2 samples and made one with armhole ribbing and one without, and I kind of really like the look without the armhole ribbing as well. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm hoping that that works out really well. I really like this color. This is definitely going to be such a beautiful piece in my wardrobe. This yarn is actually kind of special. This is from, it's a yarn dyer in France. I think they're called Lani Vandol, and I'm probably just butchering the name completely. This color is called Rame, Ram, or I cannot say the French R. So the spelling is Rame, and I tried to look up the pronunciation on Google, but I'm not a very good, I cannot do French. Like, I can try other languages, like the way they're pronounced, but somehow there's a mental block against French. But this is the color, and it's beautiful rusty brown, and I really love. And this is a 70% wool, 30% alpaca blend, and it's just beautiful to work with. I found out about this yarn from Orlan Souk because for one of her test knits, this was the recommended yarn, and I ended up ordering this yarn to make that cardigan that I was testing, but it didn't arrive in time, so I ended up choosing a different yarn in my stash and knitting it. But then when the yarn came, of course it's beautiful, and I knew I wanted something cabled in it because the cardigan test knit was also for a cabled thing. And I had seen from Orlan's project that the cables look very squishy and very pretty in it. So I'm super excited about this project and happily knitting away on it. This is pretty much the only thing I'm currently knitting on other than the sock. I have one more work in progress, and then we can get into my top 10 sweaters. So I have been knitting a sweet shop blanket, and you've seen it because I have, if you've seen my previous videos, you've seen it because last video also I talked about my fingering weight held double superwash sweet shop blanket. This is a design by Laura Penrose, and I had this, and I'm also on a kick of using up all my Holst cones. So I got this idea that I should make a plaid blanket but use the sweet shop blanket pattern and make it in Holst super soft held double. So I ended up starting this blanket in these 3 colors. It's essentially this orange, and then there's this blue indigo color. I think this is embers, and then there is a like a beigey neutral cream color, which is, I think it's called mouflon. So in these 3 colors, I am attempting to make a plaid sweet shop blanket. I know there are other plaid blanket patterns that have intarsia in them, but the sweet shop blanket is very easy, as in you do 1 square at a time and then you can like kind of build as you go. So I really am enjoying making this, and this is whole super soft held double, and I think I'm using US 6 needles. It's a little wonky, but I think once I'm done with it and then block it and everything, it'll be fine. And anyway, it's a blanket, like who cares how wonky it is. But I'm super pleased with this. And a whole super soft will definitely bloom, so some of these gaps might, like, you know, go away. Not completely, but I wanted some drape to the blanket, so this can be used on the couch as well. And I'm very, very happy with how this is turning out. I kind of went on this was during the holiday break. It was this thing in my head that I have to make this blanket and I have to do a few squares to get that momentum. So I ended up doing a lot of it because it takes a while to knit even 1 square, but like I made like all of these squares, and then now I'm doing a 1 square a week kind of a thing. Just as a quick update, I am knitting on a raglan for Baljeet, and this is a marled raglan sweater. I'm liking this fabric a lot, but I haven't made a lot of progress on it. I've been knitting on it when I'm watching TV and I want something just stockinette and mindless, but the vest test knit has taken up my interest because it's so nice to knit cables after a while. I haven't knit cables in a while. So, but this is also going on in the background. I'm hoping that after I finish the vest, because there's a deadline on it, I'll go back to this sweater and just finish a plain raglan sweater for Baljeet. This is the Bibliophile pattern by Alicia Plummer, and I haven't done too much on it since I showed you the last time, so I just wanted to briefly give you an update. Given that it's cold outside, I decided to show you how I make chai. I got all my ingredients together. We have milk, sugar, tea leaves of course, and some cardamom. I like cardamom chai the best. Of course, you need a saucepan, and I then measure some milk into a cup. I use half whole milk and half water. You can substitute any type of milk that you use and dilute it with water if you'd like, or if you want just milk, that's fine too. I'm turning on the stove here and adding some sugar into the milk. I will now grind some cardamom pods. I think I'm taking 4 cardamom pods for 1 cup of tea. I like using this mortar and pestle to grind down some cardamom, and I will add it to my milk. I use this particular brand of tea, but you can use any brand that you'd like. The Indian chai usually is an orange pekoe variety and is a bit granulated leaves. I'm waiting for the milk to come to a boil, and once it does, I add the tea leaves to it. I like my tea to be a bit darker or stronger, so you can add as much or as little tea as you desire. That's it. And once the milk has boiled, you can strain it into a cup. Spilling the tea is mandatory. Lately, I've only been drinking tea or chai when it's really cold outside, and this seems like the perfect weather. Let's talk about the top 10 sweaters from my wardrobe. Maybe I'll take a small tea break. Okay, I have all the sweaters here, and in no particular order, I'm gonna start talking through them. I did also take some B-roll of me wearing the sweaters, and I took that today, so you know that these videos are more recent, so I have not washed, not done anything extra on the sweaters. I didn't even depill them, so they are in the condition that they exist in my wardrobe currently, right? So let's get started. The first sweater is my Austra sweater. This is a design by Melody Hoffman, who's called Bee Mandarins. I test knit this almost, how many years has it been? I think it was from 2018. So this is my longest standing sweater, and it has held up rather well, I would say. This is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter yarn in the cast iron, and I don't remember the light gray color, but this has held up really, really well for me. I love this like linen stitch on top of the sweater. It makes for a very, visually very pleasing sweater. It's a drop shoulder design. I love that the neckline is just a rolled neck. It works for my wardrobe really well, works for me, because sometimes I'm very sensitive to things touching my neck. I wear the sweater at home, I wear it to the grocery store, I wear it to work. It held up really well, and I think it looks very nice even today. There was at some spots around the shoulders that I had started to see some gaps, and I had some of the yarn again, so I went and duplicate stitched over it, and I can't even tell where I did that. I did knit the cuffs, the sleeves longer, so I do fold them this way, but I kind of like it. I can wear it like the straight, like regular sleeve, but this is kind of too long, so I really enjoy wearing them folded. Yeah, since we have to get through 10 sweaters, I'm just gonna move through them rather quickly. If you have any specific questions about any of these sweaters, please feel free to reach out. The next sweater is the Seasons sweater by Ozetta. This is a half fisherman's rib sweater. I have been wearing this sweater as my home sweater, so it's the thing I put on as soon as I get home with my pajamas, and it has a very relaxed fit, and there's no reason why I made it my home sweater, just because it's like soft and comfortable, and I really, really like how squishy it is. It's so easy to throw on. I also feel like because it's kind of big and squishy and has that half fisherman's rib, it's not as smart looking as some of my other sweaters, and maybe that's why I made it a home sweater now, and I love wearing it around the house. The yarn is Durerum Natura Gilead in this caramel color, and I've been wearing this at home. I wash dishes, I clean stuff, and I just like, the cats are on it. There is some amount of pilling, slight pilling, but otherwise this yarn is a workhorse. It is beautiful, and even this sweater, I think I knit this in 2021 maybe. So it's been at least 4 years since I knit this sweater. 3.5 to 4 years. and it has held up really well. It needs a wash. There is some cat hair and stuff on it, and it was in the laundry, honestly, and I took it out and added it to my pile. Full disclosure. Hopefully he does not take a bite of the plant, because I bring the plants out when I'm recording just for some background decoration, but the cats are not very good with the plants, so they're all up on a higher shelf, and I fill the shelf so much that the cats don't find a landing spot, so they don't bother with it. And also they're older. When they were younger, I did not have any plants. So anyway, while he's doing that and while I try to keep an eye on him, this is my Reflections vest. This is a pattern by Heidi Kiermaier. I knit this in Fiber Company Acadia yarn, and I love this yarn for cables. It is beautiful. It has some silk, some alpaca content. Like, it's a very pretty yarn blend. It is quite soft, and so it does end up pilling a little bit, but honestly it's nothing that I can't live with, and I have never gleaned it, so I think if I do, it might not come back, but I never, like, it doesn't bother me too much. I love this color, and I love how this vest turned out. I don't have any thing negative to say about this. I love it. It's my favorite vest in my wardrobe. It's very soft. This one is my Enola sweater. It is a lace yoke. This is a design by NCL Knits. She's a French designer. I love her. She has very feminine-ish patterns, I would say. I love her aesthetic as well. I like a lot of her sweaters, but I haven't made any other after this one. This is actually superwash fingering weight yarn, and I can't believe how well this yarn is held up. This is the Domestic Fingering by Magpie Fibers. It's an expensive yarn, and I bought the yarn almost 6 years ago or something, and I had no idea, like, I wasn't as aware of different, superwash, non-superwash types of, yarn breeds, sheep breeds and all of that. I didn't know too much about it, but I love the color, and that's when I bought it, and I cannot believe how well this yarn is held up, because I have even slept in this yarn, in this sweater, because I wore this to Rhinebeck back in 2021, and we were camping during that weekend, and it got really cold at night because it was raining the whole weekend, and I didn't have any other sweater. I had other sweaters, but this was the one that was, I don't know, most accessible or something like that. I just threw this on and I slept in it. So I cannot believe how well this thing has held up. I'm very, very happy with it, and I wear it to work a lot. It looks really nice, and I like the sleeve length. It's not a full sleeve. I like it gives a little bit of a feminine look, and I love the sleeve length. Next is my Calix sweater or cardigan. This is the design. It's a design by Orlan Souk. I knit this in Hudson and West. Is it Forge? Yeah, it's the worsted weight yarn by Hudson and West. The yarn is expensive again, but it has made for a beautiful cardigan. I love this a lot, and I wear this a lot. It has some pilling because the yarn is kind of soft, but nothing I can't live with. Nothing I can't live with. I think so. I think that's the right way of saying it. I don't know what to say. I have shown this sweater so many times on this podcast because I did a wardrobe fall outfits or something video back in October, and I was wearing this with a lot of the trousers that I made. I love this cardigan. I like the length. I like how beautiful it is. I like the color, and it just fits. I have nothing bad to say about it. Next is my Lento sweater. I think it's by Yana Hietala, is it? I'll put it on the screen if I'm wrong. I made this in a fingering and suri held together. This yarn is by Jude, who had the Stranded Dye Works yarn business, but I don't think he does yarn dyeing anymore. When he was ending his business, or towards the end of his business, he had done like he had told us that he was going to wind down, and I'd bought this yarn from him as like a souvenir kind of a thing, and I made the lento in it, and I wear this a lot. This is like the right amount of speckle for me. Both the suri and the fingering were in the same colorway, so I love the amount of speckle on this. I don't like anything more than this, and this makes for a very pretty, easy to throw on sweater. It's very soft. I love wearing it to work. It's a nice color, like it's beautiful fabric, and I wear it a lot. I will say, however, raglans, I don't end up always following the pattern as is. I end up doing the raglan the way I do all my raglans. And I only picked one raglan sweater for this top 10 sweater video, but all the raglans, I have a lot of self-drafted raglan sweaters, and I wear all of them quite a bit. They make for very easy sweaters in my wardrobe. I love wearing them to work. The next sweater, I didn't think anything that I made in 2024 would make it to this list, because I have not had enough time to wear the sweaters I finished in 2024. So I don't know about their wearability. Most of these sweaters that I'm talking about are like, older, like from previous years, and I've worn them so much that they made it to the list. But this one is an exception because I wear it so much, and I made it only last year. This is the Farnham sweater. I made this in Sonder Sunday Morning Luxe Sport. It has some cashmere and then the BFL Massum. I made this in the color Mani Pedi and Full English. I love this. This is such a wonderful sweater to wear. I love the fit of it. I love the pattern. I love the yarn. I did end up washing this yarn with some hair conditioner when I had blocked it, and it has made for the most beautiful fabric, and I absolutely love wearing this. I've worn this a lot. I wore it like in an airplane when I was like going to Minneapolis, and it has some pilling because it's such a soft yarn, but I have not depilled it yet, and I think once I depill it, it won't, nothing is gonna come out of it again. I love this sweater. This is my favorite, or like the sweater I've worn the most that I've made in 2024, essentially. I feel like it's getting kind of dark. I'm gonna open my blinds here. Hopefully that'll add some light. Next is my Otra yoke sweater. This is a design by Ellie, who is known as Keen Deer Knits, and I knit this in Drama Phenol PT2. It's a steeked sweater. I put this jacquard ribbon on the inside of my steek. It's a traditional colorwork sweater, and Rama, of course, is a workhorse yarn again. It has held up really well. I will say that I'm a little sensitive to how scratchy it can be sometimes, but if I wear it with my full sleeves tee, it is the perfect layering piece, and I love wearing this. I don't know, this is also one of, like, I think it's 5 years old or something, and it has absolutely no signs of wear. It is beautiful. I absolutely love this make of mine. I was very proud of it when I finished it as well, because this was, I think, my second steeking attempt, and then I had to cover up the steek and everything, and I was very happy with how that worked up. So yeah, I love this cardigan a lot, and you can see my floats. I have worn it a lot of times, and it still looks like it looked the day I finished it. I have only a few more left. So this is the Ezra vest. This is also a design by Orlan Sook, and this one is kind of an underdog, I would say. When I signed up for this testnet, I was like thinking about the number of vests in my wardrobe, so I thought it'd be nice to have a vest, but I didn't know what to expect. Like, I used Wisconsin, the spinning mill in Wisconsin. It's Blackberry Ridge woolen mill yarn for this sport weight yarn. And something about this, it has worked out really well. Maybe it's the color, maybe it's the yarn, maybe it's the loose fit of it. I like it. I think it's very flattering on me. It gives me the cricket vest feels. Like, I know if you're from the UK or from India or from Australia or South Africa, I'm just listing all the cricket playing countries. But if you're from one of the cricket playing countries, I think you might have seen a lot of players wear like white vests like this, and it just gives me that vibe. And I don't know what it is, but I really enjoy wearing it. I wear it with like a long sleeve t-shirt, and I love wearing it with my blue jeans. And it makes for a very nice, relaxed, easy to throw on outfit. And I always feel very well dressed in it. It has a garter edge at all the places, like the neck. And I like the depth of the V that it has as a vest. I'm just picking out all my hair because it's white and my hair is black. Like, I can keep seeing the hair come out on it. But this is the Ezra vest, and it's kind of an underdog. I did not expect it to be as much of a favorite as it is. I end up wearing it quite a bit. And I think that was 9. So now I'm on sweater number 10. And this is my Cargill sweater. This is a design by Rebecca Clow. Of course, a Rebecca sweater had to make it to the list. Honestly, I wear a lot of her sweaters, but this one I think I wear the most. So I am super, super happy to talk about this. This is the Cargill sweater. I knit this in superwash, fingering, and mohair held together. And the yarn is from Camilla, who has the Cami Jo. She has the Cami Jo Knit podcast and the Cami Jo yarns. And I think the colorway was called Petals or something. It's very lovely purple lavender with golden speckles. And I held it with Knitting for Olive mohair in like this white, creamy white color. And this has become such a pretty sweater in my wardrobe, and I wear it a lot. This is literally just an end coming out from the other side. Oh, oh no, this is like mohair pilling. Anyway, I think it has held up really well for how much I wear it. I wear it so much. And I love the sleeve because it has like this balloon sleeve kind of a thing happening. And I like this neckline for mohair sweaters because I don't like mohair right up against my neck, but this one I can wear just over a spaghetti tank top, and I do not, the mohair doesn't bother me. It's relaxed, it's pretty, it's not itchy at all. It's like, it's the best combination of everything. So I really like the sweater. The only one thing I wish was if I had made it a little longer, it would be even more perfect. But I'm pretty happy with how it has worked up. And this stitch, I would say, was a little hard on my hands, but once it's done and it was blocked and everything, it has made for such a wonderfully warm but not too hot kind of a fabric, because it does have some, like, I don't know if you can see it, but like it does have some gaps but the mohair fills the gap. I don't know, I can't explain it. It's one of my favorite sweaters. So this is the Cargill sweater by Rebecca Clow, and I think that was number 10 of all my sweaters. I hope you found that list helpful, the details that I've provided about how the yarn has, like, you know, the wearing of the yarn and everything. Of course, the top 10 sweaters in my wardrobe will not include yarns that did not hold up very well, or that I didn't, but there are some design elements or color choices that I've made that have lent to sweaters that are not successful. Maybe I will also make a video on sweaters that were not so successful, and that might be interesting as well, because it might give us a chance to talk through why, or for me to talk through why certain sweaters didn't work out, and how can I use that information and then apply it to the next sweater, like the future sweaters that I knit, so that I don't repeat the same mistakes again. And I think that might be an interesting video, like sweaters that I wear the least or something like that. But yeah, I had a lot of fun trying out all these sweaters again. I wear them all the time, so they were very easily accessible in my wardrobe. I will mention, however, I have 3 ranunculus sweaters, but they didn't really make the list here. I made all my ranunculus short-sleeved, even if they're warmer yarns, and I kind of want a full sleeve sweater type ranunculus, and I think I want to use some of my Newton unspun yarn with like a suri alpaca or something, and make a ranunculus that's full sleeved. And I think that might work out too, because I love the fit of my ranunculus sweaters. It's just that one of them is a summer yarn, but it's kind of wool and cotton blend, so it kind of is neither here nor there. I can't wear it in the summer because it gets very humid here, and in the winter it's not warm enough. So I didn't include sweaters like that still fit me well, but the wearability aspect of them isn't great because of choices I have made, nothing against the patterns. So I kind of want to do a list of those as well, just to, talk through those, and maybe that'll give me ideas of what I can change next time. I will also mention that I did not add any summer garments here, like linen tees and everything, but I feel like they need a video of their own, because I have a lot of summer garments, summer knits that I wear a lot. Like I wear them every day. Like I have like 4 or 5 tops that get repeated every single week over the summer, and I think I definitely need to do a video of those. But I kind of stayed with my winter knits for this list. Not saying that I don't like my summer knits, but I mean, I don't know, I think they need their own video, because there are different considerations to be made when you're making summer garments. A lot of my summer knits are just plain raglans, and that works the best because I don't want to layer. So I care about how, like, whether my bra is shown and what the neck looks like and things like that. So I thought it'd be boring to just add my orange linen tee, but like I've worn that tee like, I don't know, 100 times or something like that. And it has held up really well. So I would like to talk about my summer garments, but I didn't think that this was the list that they belonged in. So I think that was everything that I had planned to talk about. Oreo is getting really irritated because this seat is his, and he was sleeping under the blanket here, and I came and I started recording and kind of evicted him, and he is very sleepy now, so he kind of wants me to get off it. He's been nudging me for the last 10 minutes. But yeah, I think I have talked about everything. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know what you thought. Please make suggestions of any patterns that you think that I should try. I am still kind of undecided how I want to, like, plan out 2025 knitting. I'm in a lot of different mindsets, but we'll take it one step at a time. I am happy knitting away at the things that I currently have on my needles, so there's no rush. The whole year is ahead of us. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day, week, month. I will see you next time with more knitting, more making. Thank you so much for all your support. Stay safe and happy crafting. Bye.